In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to assemble your skimmer. I'm going to start with what is probably the most difficult piece, and then we will work to easier steps after that. What I recommend using is a lightweight, clear tape, something like Scotch tape. Okay? Doesn't have to be Scotch tape. If you use something else, it'll work just fine. It's just going to be a little bit heavier. Okay? What we're going to need to do is we're going to take your scoop and we're going to flip it over so that our writing is going towards each other. Okay? Your scoop needs to sit flat at the bottom or the base of, actually inside, and they need to be touching. Okay? The ramp-like portion here, this edge here, right here, needs to be touching this surface. If they're not touching, then they're not going to work correctly. Okay? What this is doing is this is making a ramp, so as it sits inside of our scoop, when air comes and hits it, it's redeflected down to the ground, and then that creates the lift for the front end of your skimmer. The rear flap here is going to do the exact same thing, but it's going to lift the rear of the vehicle. Okay, so I'm going to take and I'm going to put this in here. First, I'm going to make sure that, yep, it fits good. This is a 3-inch space. This should be a 3-inch space. You can see the angle that I have on the inside here. I'm going to slide this up as close to the front edge as I can. I'm going to take, because this is 3 inches, I want a 2 to 3 inch long piece of tape. I'm going to take my ruler, lay it out. I'm going to take my tape. I'm going to pull out 2 to 3 inches. That's a little long. Two to 3 inches of tape. Okay. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tape, I'm going to put it half on, half off of this edge. This is sticking down. Sitting halfway on, halfway off. I'm going to do the same thing to the opposite side. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold these pieces of tape back. I'm going to press my skimmer all the way down, or my scoop all the way down into my skimmer. I'm going to squeeze it to one edge. So I'm holding it towards the edge closest to me. I'm going to press the tape against the side and then fold any excess over the edge. Okay. From here you can see that it's taped to this edge. I still have an angle. I have the angle of that scoop, and this top edge you can see is touching the inside top of our skimmer. I'm going to pull the tape back on the opposite side, press it down, pull the pieces together, press this tape, fold the excess over the edge. Okay. Next, we're going to add your fins. I believe it's easier to add our fins before we do the rear flap. For our fins, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a 2 to 3 inch piece of tape. I'm going to grab my ruler again, switch it so it's actually upside down. Make this a little bit easier. Okay. What I'm going to start by doing is I'm going to place my tape inside of this fin so that this little flap on the back, so that it's facing, the sticky part is facing out. Okay. If you have a little extra hanging off, we can trim that off later. Okay. I'm going to take my fin, I'm going to line up the fin, the bottom edges of our fin with the bottom edge of the flap, the back corner and the back edge with the back edge of the flap. Okay. press the tape along the inside, and then I can actually just take this extra, and rather than even trimming it over, I'm just going to fold it over that edge. Okay. Sometimes, because I folded this over the edge, it may not do it as much. What's probably going to happen here is this is going to want to flop out on you. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a piece of tape over that edge as well. So again, I'm going to take a 2 to 3 inch piece of tape. I'm going to place it halfway on the bottom edge of our fin. Then I'm just going to fold that down around that bottom edge as smoothly as I can. Okay. Then we'll repeat the same step for the opposite side. You could put a small piece of tape on this 1/2 inch mark. Note that this edge or this side of our skimmer and our fin, they are both 1/2 inch, so they should be the same size. Your fins can be flipped around a bit because they are symmetrical. Spin this around and do the same thing. Another trick is that the average human thumb from the crotch of your thumb to the tip of your thumb is approximately 2 inches. I would not use this for making accurate measurements, but estimating for length of tape, this can work out just fine. Try to handle your tape as little as possible. The more that you handle it, touch it, pull on it, the more that it's going to, or the less sticky it will be. If I want my name to be inside, I can easily just flip this over and around, line up the bottom edges, line up the back edge, and stick it. Any extra, I'm just going to fold over for right now. Again, a 2 to 3 inch piece of tape. Oops. I get a new piece. Half on, half off. Fold it down and around. Okay, now we have our skimmer, our scoop is assembled, our fins are assembled, our fins are a little floppy still, they don't stand up straight, we need to fix this, okay? This will be fixed by attaching our rear flap. This bottom corner goes to the bottom rear corner, okay? I'm gonna fold this fin out so that you can see this a little bit better. Okay. What I'm gonna do is again, 2 to 3 inch piece of tape, half on, half off the half off, half on the flap. Pull that tape back. Now you want this to be as straight as possible. The straighter that it is, the more ramp-like it will be and the better it will deflect the air. Okay? I'm touching these two corners together and I'm sticking that tape to the inside. I pulled them together and I taped that. You can already see how much more rigid, how much more upright our fin sits now. I'm going to repeat the same step for this side. You can see the angle on our